Alright, so we're out here in the garage. It's cold, it's winter, and I finally got the boat completed. I have nothing else to add to it. I have a couple things that I'm trying that I may change in the future, but what I'm going to show you is my tournament rig for the 2021 season. Let's just dive into it. We'll start right up here. At the front of the bow, I have my Garmin GPS puck, and my Anchor Wizard rope is going to run through that front handle, and that's where I'm going to run my front anchor. Obviously, with the PA 14 360 compared to the 12, the hatch is a lot bigger. There's more storage space in there, and I'm going to be running my net similar to this. That's basically where it's going to stay. Not going to probably change that. That's where I'm comfortable with it being. We'll move that out of the way and look inside the hatch here. Got some sticker action right there. And I got all my wiring set up. This is where my Dakota lithium battery is going to go. I run the 54 amp hour. It's just going to sit in there in the bottom. I may put some sort of padding there just for it to sit on so it doesn't move around, but it'll plug in to the power control module there. I have my Garmin live scope box there, and then we're going to come up quick here. Right here I have my Yak power plug, and I also have another one over here. I'll show you why here in just a second. We'll close the hatch up and move the net back where it's going to go so it's out of the way. Alright, so when you're looking at this front area here, I have two of the Yak power cords. The intent is so when traveling to and from places in the dark, I have a spotlight. It'll go right here, and it'll plug directly into that control area. So that's where that will go. Obviously, I have my Garmin head unit is going to be there. That may change. That may move over here. But I really do kind of like it face on. It's just a little bit harder to mark waypoints and stuff. And sometimes I do have to lean forward, but I feel like the leaning forward aspect is better than having it in the way of landing fish over here. What you're going to see that's unique about this boat, and I did it with my PA 12 360, is that I ran the Torqeedo foot control steering while still maintaining my horizontal rod storage. And I basically did it, and I'll show you on the other side over here a little bit easier, or a little bit closer to me. What I did was I used a lock and load mount, and I put it into the track system here on the Hobie. And then I came back here and I used the Hobie stand-up assist bar adapter that attaches to the A-trail. And that's how I plugged it, or that's how I screwed it into that to give me that horizontal rod storage. And then I basically took my lines for the steering, which you're going to see a couple different lines here. One of them is a motor raise, and then you obviously have the transducer and rudder raise. But I ran my lines all the way back across the top, attached tightly with P-clips. And once I got back here to the back, they will come up and they will pull off of that pad eye before they go up to the motor to take some of the stress off of the P-clip I use the pad eye for that. So if anyone has any questions on that, I can help them out a little bit better by explaining it to them via message or in person. Here I'm running my Anchor Wizard. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be good enough. I don't know yet. I haven't tested it, so it's out of the way, and I kind of like it being off to the side like that. So the Anchor Wizard is going to, like I said, run to the front and out the handle. Under the seat, I'm going to have storage for either my deep crankbait box or my spinnerbait box. And I'll probably end up running my battery there, but that's to be determined. I'm not sure if I'm going to run the battery in front of the crate or not. Another thing you can see there is my Garmin heading sensor. That's just making sure that my boat is pointed in the right direction. And then that wire runs down into the transducer area, and then everything's connected inside. In this PA14, you have storage on each side, 3 slots for rods. Right now I'm only using 2 because I'm set up and rigged up for wintertime fishing, and quite often I don't take a full complement of rods whenever I go out for wintertime. On my right side here, I have my live scope. This is just a homemade PVC pipe with a handle. It's nothing fancy, but it works for me and it's what I'm used to. So rather than spend all the money on something that's developed and made for it, I just made it myself, and it works just fine. So I don't see myself changing it. Just off to that, I have the little storage area that the Hobie makes for the H-rail. It's kind of nice. Just throw crap in there that I'm using. You know, anything that I'm done using basically just ends up in there. As you can see, there's a drop shot and a little tiny swim bait. On the other side over here, I have my Torqeedo throttle mount, and that's more or less that's where that's going to stay. I don't see myself changing it. It's, you know, it's out of the way. It does not get in the way of me moving my rudder or my 360 control, so it'll stay there. My PFD, obviously, this thing is awesome. The Kayak Cushion, I got the one with the Yak Addicts logo on it, but I love this thing a lot. It's really helps with the back. Back here is where I'm going to store my my board, my measuring board. It'll just sit right there. You can see the 2 little Yak power lights. I put those in the rear facing forward so it didn't affect my night vision. Plus they're blue light, which is supposed to be better for your night vision. So that's why those are where they are. Going back just a little bit further here, I have another Yak Power plug-in port, and that is specifically for my action camera, and that'll plug in there. And obviously, I don't think I said it, but up on the front, this one here is for my action camera on the front, so it's all hardwired in and powered from my Dakota lithium battery. Back here to the back again, I have this tray, holds my line, my scent, super glue, and then obviously you have your space inside of here. For the winter time, what I do is I actually put my dry bag in there, and I put a toolkit in there. I don't take a lot of tackle out in the wintertime, but for tournaments, I'll have a bunch of boxes in there with tackle. I have the ability to stage 7 rods pointed upwards, and really I could probably do 8 rods laying forward. I don't think I'll ever take that many, but I have that ability. This area back here is basically, if I know I'm going to use something again, it'll go back here. Otherwise, it'll go back up in the front. So I got my paddle broken down into the paddle clips, and then coming back here, this is going to be my motor raise, my motor lift, and I have it set up on a pulley system here to help lift that weight of the 1103 motor. And the red cable is my reverse lock. Right now I just have it connected so it doesn't flop around and travel. And I have my steering cables connected to the rings, and this is where my motor goes. I don't run a power pole. I don't like having things up above me sticking up and getting caught on limbs. I like to get in tight quarters, so that power pole doesn't really work great for me. It's awesome. It's an awesome tool, but it doesn't work for the way I like to fish. In here, I have a rope, and I'll put miscellaneous odds and ends in there. That's just a nice little storage area to have. But this is just a quick overview. I did a longer video on my PA12, and I didn't really change much on this boat. I kept everything pretty much the same. I am only going to run one depth finder screen this year, just because I felt that I just didn't use the two of them enough or to their full capability last year, and it's just added weight and added wires and stuff, and I just got rid of it, kind of simplify things. I did not touch about what's in here. Obviously, everyone knows that this comes with the 2-box holder. I switched that out, and I actually run my control module remote there. This is my wintertime stuff. Like, I have a bunch of Ned rigs and small tubes and flat side crankbaits and things like that. And that's a lot of wintertime baits. And that's a lot of what we fish up here in the wintertime in Pennsylvania, because that small, slow, passive action is what gets bit. So this is my rig. Pretty happy with it. Pretty satisfied with the way it turned out. But I like to keep this area open for the most part. It kind of looks, to someone who doesn't have all their stuff on it, it might look as if it's not open. But to me, this is open. These foot pedals don't take up a lot of space. And then whenever I'm not using the foot pedals, I have the Select designs that I get from Trey Leach at Innovative Sportsman. I can take those off. So whenever I'm fishing a tournament that doesn't allow the motor, I can just take those right off of there, and they work just fine. Just stay there. So, but that's it. That's my rig. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a message, Instagram, Facebook. I can kind of answer any questions that I know the answers to. And yeah, pretty happy with it.